Well, hey there, you're on the internet, I have some free time, and welcome to the Triple N Network, where all you newbie nib nerds can find all the news you'll need. Let's look at an ink today, shall we? Now, today's ink is purple, which is something that my camera sometimes has difficulty with, so I will make every effort to adjust it in post. But today's ink is by Parker from the Quink series, Purple. Come in these cute mini cartridges. Aren't they adorable? Anyways, there you go. And all the tests were done in this Parker Vector. I was told it's called a tuxedo. It's an all-metal pen. And it's a medium nib. And like most vectors, it tends to write just a little bit on the dry side. You know, just barely, but I thought I'd compare it to a couple other inks. Up here we have Sheaffer Script Purple. Here we have Private Reserve Purple Mojo, Parker Quink Purple, and Noodler's Purple, which I feel like you can see is a bit more red than the rest. And let's look at the chromatography. And this is how you're supposed to do it, which is you put the ink and then instantly dunk it in the water. And lately I've been letting it dry because I have too much free time. And as you can see, the letting it dry didn't do anything for it. You can see there's sort of this hazy blue spot where it initially was, and then it goes into this pink, and then sort of like a lighter purple, and then this band of dark purple right up at the top. Paper test, top down to density, Clairefontaine, 90 grams per square meter. 6 seconds to dry. Which, you know, not terribly surprising. It is a fairly dry writing medium, but this is Clairefontaine. Now, there was something very interesting. I'm going to try and get it on camera, but I have a terrible feeling I'm not going to get it. There's like this barest halo of sheen, and I know it's not going to show up on camera, but it's aqua. It's like, the sheen is sort of aqua colored. Like, it's not quite green, it's not quite blue, and it's actually quite beautiful. But yeah, as you can see, there's definitely potential for shading in the normal writing. And this felt like the wettest Quink ink I've tried so far. I'd say it's a 6.5 out of 10, which makes this pen, which is generally a little drier than most, you know, because the vectors tend to be that way. Nice and smooth, good flow, it was a good combo. Yeah, no bleed, feather, spread. No echo. I say not much, but there really isn't any. But here in the water test, as you can see, it's obliterated. I mean, it's gone. It's dyed the page pink, but it's really, really, really gone. So, next is Rhodia, 80 grams per square meter. 5 seconds to dry. Decent shading. And here I was trying to lay it on really thick to try and get more of that aqua sheen, and I did that. But as you can see, where you're not being an idiot, it'll do just fine. So, yeah. No feathering, no spread, no bleed where, you know, you're reasonable. Water test is really just obliterating it. There's only the barest hints of things left. The camera's picking up on it. Dyed the page pink, so really not a lot of water resistance there. Next is Tomoe River Paper, where, again, I was trying to lay it on really thick to get some of this aqua sheen, because I wanted you guys to be able to see it, and like here, it's looking mostly green here, but I mean, I'm going to have to do some color adjustments anyway, so. But yeah, in the halo parts, but I did scrub nearly through the paper, so take it easy. But yeah, decent shading, of course no real bleed, feather, or spread. Yeah, I actually was really enjoying this pen, paper, and ink combo, even though, I mean, this is really gone. It is like you can barely see where it was. It dyed the page, but, echo isn't too bad. This isn't the darkest purple ink ever, but this paper is very thin. Next is 20-pound Copier Paper, which is awful. Took 2 seconds to dry. There really is no shading whatsoever left here. Color is still pretty vibrant and bright, but the spread is ridiculous. Like, if you look at the width of the writing here compared to here, it absolutely just exploded. And there's this weird furry texture. Water test absolutely... Ugh. Yeah, I mean, this is probably the most we've seen remaining so far, but it really did explode. It really did feather, so not the world's best showing. And that's a lot of near bleed through. I mean, it's almost everywhere. Like, you know, it's not patchy at all, and it is so close to coming through in a lot of places, which is not what I like to see in a medium nib on that paper. But that paper is so awful that Mead outperformed it, but just barely. So, 1.5 seconds to dry, really no shading left. There's very near bleed through, and here there actually is bleed through. But, I mean, if you look at the, you know, this is 1/4 of a full-size page, and so this is the edge, which makes me think that, although that doesn't make it okay, it does sort of explain why it's centered at an L like that. It's an issue with the quality control of the pressing process. I said maybe a fine or an extra fine might do better. There is feathering, and the water test is a disaster, in part because this ink does not like water, and in part because this paper really hates water, and so a collision of the two was just bad all over. And lastly is Moleskine notebook paper, but don't expect these results. That's all I can say. Yeah, it's overperforming. Most Moleskine will not perform like this. 6 seconds to dry. Here, there's no bleed or feather or spread. Water test is not great. It's mostly gone. It dyed the page, but some remains. So there you go for your consideration. Parker Quink Purple. It's, for a proprietary purple, really not bad. Slightly on the wet side in my experience, so in these generally somewhat dry vectors, good combo. I'm not the world's biggest fan of purple, but this one's not too bad. For your consideration from the Triple N Network, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching. Bye.